Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ultra Vires versus KMT here live at the Weplay Invitational. This is Game 2, I'm Nature, and once again, I'm joined by Metas.
Hey Nature, hey viewers, hopefully everyone has had just a little while to calm themselves down after that 55-minute bloodfest that we just saw before. Quite crazy, honestly. I did not see it going the distance. I did not see it going for that long. I thought that, judging from KMT's previous performances that I've seen over the last few days, they would actually win that first game fairly comfortably. But actually, Ultra Vires coming out with the big W. Remember, this is a best of 5, but still, Ultra Vires, they do have the advantage.
Yeah, so keep in mind while you're watching Picks and Bans, we are watching ourselves from stream, so we might just be on a little bit of a delay for you guys, as of course there are limited spectator slots in the live client. So Picks and Bans coming in here quite fast, as we do have the Nidalee, the Ziggs, the Lucian, once again the Orianna and the Vi being banned. The Orianna and the Vi are not surprising at all to me.
Yeah, 4 targeted bans there. Ziggs against Overpower, Elise was played by Zazas. Orianna was, of course, played by the mid laner himself as well. Mazarin, and finally Vi was on Jankos, I believe. In fact, no, the other way around. It was a Luna. Jankos had Olaf, which has actually just slipped through the cracks. Annie was banned in first game. It's definitely one of the top tier supports right now, especially with these changes that allow supports to get more items, more ability power in Annie's case. So not too surprising for me to see Kralius taking that one first for his team. But what I am quite interested to see if they're going to go for the Olaf again, because it wasn't necessarily terrible, but it didn't have a huge amount of impact in the last stages of the game because he was never able to use his Ghost and Ragnarok offensively. It always seemed like he was burning him to run away.
Yeah, it is looking like they're actually going to take a Dr. Mundo instead of an Olaf, as they have locked in the Evelyn and the Dr. Mundo on the side of the KMT team. On the other side, however, Kralius has locked himself in an Annie, and I would think that is an Annie support, but then again, we might see some weird stuff happening, but I'm going to believe that is an Annie support for now, as Alanir is hovering over that Shyvana, which did work for them pretty well last game.
I'd be amazed if that's not Annie support, because Kralius is their support player. Annie, after Tabe so famously started playing her, you know, for West viewers, I'm speaking about, of course, in Korea and in Asia, has been played for a lot longer, but we saw Tabby picking it up for Royals in the World Finals, and from there on in, it has just exploded on the scene. Looks like they may be going for these 2 same picks, as you said, hovering over the Shyvana and also the Sivir. So Sivir, Annie bot lane, that's a lot of burst damage. That's actually very scary to play against.
Yeah, I would imagine Silver and what was their support again? Zazas, I believe. No, Vander is their support.
Vander,
never mind. Yep. So I would imagine Silver and Vander being forced to be quite careful in that lane. So on the other side, of course, we do have the Sivir and Annie. They need to be on quite a close range to perform what they do best. Aside from the boomerang, of course. So the Caitlyn does counter that quite well, as she does have quite a good, quite a long range, if you will.
What I'd expect to see here, obviously I can't see right now, but I expect to see Fiddlesticks or Zyra as a support coming in with the Caitlyn, because Fiddlesticks can obviously terrify away Annie and just Dark Wind as well, which is the constant silencers coming through, and plus the fact it's quite a lot of burst damage as well. And as you said, they've got range on their side. Caitlyn is good at dealing with the poke damage coming out from Annie, who's very short range as an AP carry or a support, as the case may be, and Sivir's not necessarily the longest range either, just a boomerang blade. But they've actually gone for the Kassadin. Overpower is an insanely strong Kassadin from mid. What I would be interested to see here if he's going to go for the teleport. I saw him do this at DreamHack, and he absolutely decimated. He went teleport flash with Kassadin mid and just roamed bot over and over again.
Mazarin, however, is looking to react to that by picking up the Z here, which is of course quite painful to deal with if you're a Kassadin, because he does so much damage in the early game, and of course he does so much damage as well in the late game when he gets a good death mark off. MBS Law has picked himself up the Aatrox, so he will be looking for that aggressive jungle path, and right now it's Zaz's turn to pick up the very last champion for KMT, and it looks like it's going to be a Thresh.
Wow, so going for the Thresh makes a lot of sense as well. You land a death sentence that can certainly live up to its name against Annie, who's a very squishy support, but I'm looking at Mazrin's pickup of Zed here, and I'm thinking in terms of kill potential at level 6, it's not that easy actually to get a kill on Kassadin and Zed, because as soon as you put down the death mark, Kassadin's just going to rift walk away. So all of the amplified damage after the death mark explodes will not be enough to pick up that kill. So it's going to be more of a case of placing that down at the right place, maybe right after the rift walk has just been utilized, and then looking for the kills afterwards, potentially maybe with a gank coming in from a Luna. So they're going to be going for that Shyvana again at top lane as we were expecting, and they've got a lot of AD damage here, although Shyvana does a fair amount of magic damage as well.
Yeah, so right now Vander has locked himself in that Thresh. That is going to be Hook City in the bot lane, if you will. And of course they do need that, because Azaz's, the Dr. Mundo, really isn't that heavy on crowd control as the Aatrox, of course. So that is something they will need to make happen in that bot lane if they will want to get a kill. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading into a quick commercial break. When we come back, it is going to be Game 2 between KMT and Vires.
And draw.
Good evening once again, viewers. We are back for the Weplay Invitational here on Chaos TV. It's going to be Ultra Vires facing off against KMT. I'm at this joined by Nature, and I'm still on the loading screen, so I'm not sure if you're actually in the game yourself yet, Nature, but all I can see is these pretty challenger borders.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in the game right now, as we do have Ultra Vires. I forgot their team name, so pro. Doing a little bit of an invade here, as they did get a couple of wards in there, and they are looking to back away now, as Jankos has scouted them out with the stealth Evelyn, of course, and he will not be getting caught either. So, Ultra Vires getting a little bit of vision in there, and they will, at that point, know the jungle path, of course, of the Jankos, if he reveals himself to the wards.
So, the head scratcher for me in this game is fairly standard picks across the board, barring Dr. Mundo, who's a character I've not seen in competitive play for a pretty long time here in EU West. I'm not sure about you, Nature. Have you seen much of the Doctor?
I believe I actually saw him in the EU qualifiers.
Right.
But I'm not too sure whether that is just another made-up memory of mine. Which is quite used, which is quite often being with that. Never mind. Back to the middle.
He's Dutch.
Yeah, I'm Dutch. Don't worry about it. Matches. Go ahead.
We actually do have the lane switch ups this time, however, though, Nature, with both dual lanes occupying mid. That's going to put Zed at top against Mundo, and alongside that will be overpower a bot. This makes a lot more sense. As I said previously in picks and bans, Zed against Kassadin doesn't make a great deal of sense because at level 6 Kassadin can just riff walk away. It's very difficult for a melee champion like Zed to jump on top of him and do enough damage to pick that one up. But I have to feel that this lane switch up could actually end up paying out for overpower. If he can play safe and steady, get a bit of farm, get some last hits on the go. He's got the teleport, so he can suddenly, in the blink of an eye, appear in that mid lane and turn it into a 3 versus 2.
Well, Miramax has not spotted out Jankos here, who is heading towards that blue buff of Alanir, as Alanir did try to steal Jankos's. Jankos has now been spotted out. He goes in towards Alanir. Alanir taking a lot of damage. He is forced to flash out there, but Jankos flashes as well. He gets into tower range, I believe, but Jankos will be they will be pulled back in there, and he will be finished off by Jankos. But here comes the son of Corralius. They will be finishing off Jankos here. That is a 1-for-1. Corralius picks that one up. Now Vander in all kinds of trouble as Mazarin joins the party. Vander trying to get out of there. Boomerang comes out. Mazarin picks it up, and they will be picking up 2 kills versus 1.
So, first blood will go into the hands of KMT, but they lose 2 players in the process, which is going to be oh so scary to play up against. And Zazis on top of that, Dr. Mundo is looking to go one-on-one against Mazarin, again popping off the Burning Agony. And you know, this is something that chat actually said, and I completely agree. By saying I've not seen Dr. Mundo, I'm not saying it's a bad pick, it's just not one I've not seen a great deal of recently. I completely agree with you. Once you get to late game status, Zazis is going to be pretty much unkillable here, Nature. Once you get some of those big items coming up, it's going to be so difficult to stop him.
Yeah. At this point already, Mazarin is having a little bit of trouble dealing with him, as of course Zazis is able to heal it up with those cleavers, as he will just be popping a ward in there and starts to continue his push in that top lane, as Mazarin is forced to farm under his turret. And hold that thought for a second, because we might just see Jankos looking for a gank here in the middle lane.
Yeah, they are thinking about this. This is one of the volatile aspects of having both of your dual lanes occupying mid. And as the junglers can gank from two separate sides, it definitely throws a spanner in the works. Luna's coming down. I say coming down, coming up. My bearings are really good. I'm a geography master, as you can probably see. And now Jankos is coming right now, trying to pick up the kill onto Luna. But this is quickly turning back in Luna's favour, even with that first blood. And therefore, they're both going to have to back on away.
Yeah, so Lunar put his... Lunar put a point in his Bloodthirst and Blood Price at level 3, I believe, making him able to put a whole lot of lifesteal down on Jankos, which he really cannot deal with at this point. So he was forced away right there, as Miramax and Coralius with the stun ready, maybe looking for a kill here, as here they go, flash in on Vander, and here they go.
Yeah, Vander could be falling very quickly. One more attack will do, but actually puts down the Ignite. They're going to turn this one back around for a 1-for-1 trade, which honestly I felt that could have been a clean 1-0 in favour of Ultra Vires there, but backfiring a tiny bit. And to answer your question, the first game did go to Ultra Vires.
Yeah, so Miramax now getting poked out of that middle lane, as Celiver with the blue buff is on the winning hand when it comes to poking for now, with that range advantage, as we do have Jankos lurking around the sides of that middle lane, as he might be looking for a gank, although Miramax is pushed a little bit too far under his turret, so he will not be able to make something happen here. Miramax going quite low to that Piltover Peacemaker, and he will be forced to back away, I believe, here, as Celiver is trying to do as much damage as he can on that turret, and I believe Celiver will be turning level 6 soon, and that is going to be dangerous for Miramax if he stays.
Very true, just a few more CS and he'll be hitting at level 6. And with no real mana to speak of, Miramax is in a really sticky situation. Stun comes down from Coralius, just simply not doing enough damage right now. And they will have to back on away. This blue buff with Celiver proving to be deadly right now. And that all came off the back of that poor engage, I've got to say, that 1-for-1 trade that really shouldn't have been.
Yeah, and we did have the teleport being used by Overpow to just get back into his lane and not to lose as much CS as he would when not having the teleport. So he has picked himself up a Tear of the Goddess now, so he will be getting that stacking started off here. As in the meantime, we do have Jankos starting off with a little bit of a dirty jungling against his opponent jungler, who will probably be able to steal this red buff away, as Alanir is not heading towards him, and Jankos gets away smoothly, no problem for him, and the hook almost landing.
Yeah, very, very close there. And Jankos is going to be backing on away here from the mid lane. So let's have a quick look at bot. They're not really giving it too much love, as I see Overpower Rift walking away. And yeah, that's a pretty big difference starting to accumulate right now for MBS, who's 58 to 35 CS ahead. So this lane switch up really paying out dividends for the side of Ultra Vires.
Yeah, so it is a 3 versus 2 situation for now in that middle lane, as we do have Ultra Vires looking for a fast push on that middle outer turret, or are they? Because they have seen their red buff being dead for now, as they might just be looking to take the one of their opponents, and Alanir will probably be picking that one up, and there is some heavy pinging coming down on him, but they will just be taking that one down, and Miramax and Coralius will be doing quite a lot of damage on this turret in the middle lane in the meantime.
Yep, Caitlyn coming back down with a BF sword. And also the longsword, which of course was cheapened slightly in the last patch. Zanzos, however, is taking lots of damage right now. Darkflight comes in, that should be enough with the Ignite. There you go. Zed picks up his second kill of this game. So Mazarin is starting to shift through the gears, and that's definitely one play you don't want to give a chunk of kills to.
Now Mazarin is going to get really, really dangerous when he gets into that late game. When he gets some items, he's just going to blow up pretty much everyone aside from probably Zaz's, as once again the death sentence not quite connecting in that middle lane. If it would have connected onto Miramax, I believe that would have been quite bad for him, as it is usually. That's why it's probably named death sentence. And meanwhile in the bottom lane, NBS low trying to push out that lane, and Overpower having a little bit of trouble farming.
There is a few issues around the board right now from Ultra Vires. KMT are behind. Here comes the burst from Kralius, though. Dark Passage through will just about keep Jankos alive. That was looking a bit sketchy, a bit hairy for a few moments. He will manage to back on away, and this blue buff was picked up in the process, I believe, there from Aluna.
Yeah, so the death sentence almost connecting on Miramax once again, or on Kralius. I believe that would have been really, really sketchy if that would have caught him. So once again, they are pushing out that middle lane right now, and this is going to be dangerous for Miramax, as he is all alone. We do have Alanir roaming around the sides of that lane, as he has joined the party. Great spell shield right there of Miramax, blocking out the death sentence, and just getting a little bit of extra mana, of course.
So these lane switch-ups not really paying out for KMT right now. Overpower is struggling at bot. Mundo is a kill down. In fact, 2 down over Mazarin Zed. So it's not looking too good. However, their mid lane is winning in terms of CS, with Cive having a kill and 2 assists to Caitlyn's just 1 kill. So KMT still in this, just 500 gold behind. No towers have fallen just yet, and although Kralius and Miramax at one point against that blue buff were looking down and out, you've got to give them props here, Nature. They've managed to claw their way in and keep themselves into contention in the mid lane.
I certainly do give them props. Miramax and Kralius will probably be finishing off this turret in the middle lane, although Silver is heading there as fast as he can. Death sentence being used. Kralius gets caught. He gets flayed back. Box being used. Kralius is in all kinds of trouble. Peels over. Peacemaker comes across. Vander, just one more hit. Can he do it here? As Kralius is trying to make this happen. Teleport comes down of the Kassadin using the Riftwalk Flash. And the Null Sphere will finishing off now. Miramax getting flayed back using that spell shield. Here's Jankos to finish him off. Ace in the hole comes out, but it is a little bit too late as Jankos has killed him already.
Oh, that was so close. I'm not sure if the streaming camera caught that there, but the Dark Flight from Aluna very nearly cancelled the teleport from Overpower, knocking him in the air. It was literally a millimeter away from cancelling that teleport. That could have been the difference between Annie surviving and dying. However, they didn't pick up that first tower because, of course, Overpower is occupying mid. But they're going to look to back this one up, however, KMT. They're going to pick up this mid tower. So 1-for-1 trade with a couple kills thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, on the other side, however, we do have Ultravirs setting up for this dragon. They have used the sweeping lens, and they will probably be starting this one off. Meanwhile, Kralius getting caught, Tipper's being used, but it's not enough as Overpower picks up the kill. Now Alanir and NBS Law getting hooked in here. Alanir getting flayed back once again. Nullsphere will pop him into his blood well, as he will probably be dying here. Ace in the hole comes out, but it is too late. Once again, Silver has joined the party. NBS Law desperately trying to get out, as he does in the end. And that is a 2-for-0, and the dragon probably going over to KMT.
Yeah, and also importantly, Overpower 3-0 now. So this Kassadin has struggled with CS, but it simply does not matter if you are securing those kills. Now 1.5k to spend, soon to be more gold after this dragon will be falling, and this CS. And KMT, very reminiscent of the first game, picking up the early advantages, but last time around, just slipped through the cracks there, Nature, and ended up losing.
Yeah, they certainly did. As meanwhile, that top lane, Zazes is having some trouble, as Mazarin is proving to be a little harsh on him, if you will. Mazarin doing a little bit more damage than Zazes can deal with at this point, as of course he is very, very tanky, so he won't die, but he really cannot do too much damage to Mazarin to make him bite the dust.
Well, let's have a look. I was just checking chat before. Someone was asking, is it H2K or KMT? Well, we're going for KMT because they entered the tournament as KMT, and also when I was casting them at DreamHack, they were also called KMT. So, probably just a case that they haven't changed their name in-game as of yet. That being said, though, speaking of KMT, they're slightly ahead. It's not a huge chunk of gold difference. Mundo is still feeling the effects right now at top lane, but is getting tankier. Giant's Belt and Chain Vest is going to go a long way to mitigate a lot of damage, but this is not the first time that I've seen Overpower do this on Kassadin. He did this at DreamHack. He goes for the Mejai Soul Stealer. This is very ballsy play. Speaking of which, Jankos is coming to top lane right now. There's no ward down here, so it could be potential gank on the cards.
Yeah, but Mazarin is very, very slippery. He has used his Living Shadow, but here comes Janko's Ignite being used. Death Mark being used on Janko's. Gets out once again, but is it enough? No, it isn't, as Zazes will pick that one up. That is a kill in exchange there for Zazes.
A for effort, but you're still going to go down. That could very well turn into a tower on top of it, or a lot of damage being put down here. But you can see Oluna, Miramax, NBS LOL, all looking to pick up this blue buff. Here's Caitlyn from the side. Who's going to be picking this up? Here comes the ace in the hole onto Oluna, who's going to be falling as the ultimate from Sivir rains up as well. NBS trying to push back the AD carry, but a beautiful box there will be locking down Ultra Vires, and they just simply have to back away. So at the end of that, it's a 1-for-0 trade in KMT's favor.
Yeah, so they will be trying to push down this middle lane, as Jankos is actually stealing their blue buff, so that is quite dangerous, or quite nasty for them to be fair. Jankos does manage to get it, and they are a little bit too late for that to spot it out. Jankos gets away. Of course, he's very slippery as well. And in the bottom lane, however, we do still have MBS low. Trying to do as much split pushing as he can and distract Overpower.
Well, that is 1 stack as well on the Major Soul Stealer. It's going to be 6 before it pays for itself. But right now, across the board, KMT are looking a bit stronger. Certainly the case in the first game. As I said before, though, it didn't pay out for them. 3 players on about 1,000 gold. Whereas on the flip side, Ultra Vires are looking a bit bare bones in the gold department. Just about 500-600 across that team, and this is going to allow Overpower now to start pushing the bot lane as well. Is going to be doing quite a bit of damage, plus the fact, yes, Shyvana has a giant spell and a null magic mantle, but still Overpower's going to start to hurt. Here comes the cavalry dog. Coralius is coming down to bot lane. Going to be Rift walking towards Alunia. Dark Flight comes in, but a beautiful placed flash from Overpower will get him out of dodge.
Yeah, he has got that Rift Walk available once again, so he will be Rift Walk. He just has Rift Walked over that Dragon Wall. He gets out safely, no problems for either team, as KMT is still 4 kills ahead and 4,000 gold, which is a lot at this stage of the game. But Miramax might be in trouble here. Agnes Embrace being used. He uses the barrier. Death Sentence perfectly placed. He gets played back, and he goes down to Jankos. Jankos picking up his 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, and that's on Evelyn, so it's going to be a big damage threat going forward, and that's the important part. They've got 4 damage threats. Yes, Mundo is a tank, but he survives for so long that you can't afford to ignore him, plus the fact he's going to have that burning agony coming down. You can see right now, Mazarin's taking a lot of damage just from that W alone, plus the fact on top of that, you've got to factor in that the Masochism is going to give him a fair chunk of attack damage when he pops at his E. So you can see right now that Jankos is coming down. Mazarin's in all kinds of trouble. He's going to be using that ultimate. Can he make the great escape? Make some big plays? No, he cannot. Jankos picks up his 4th kill, and the ace in the hole was used for good measure. So it looks like they're going to be picking up the 2nd tier top tower.
This is looking to be a very, very fast push on that turret. Celever takes a little bit of damage, as we do have Jankos forcing Miramax away from his AD carry, and they will be backing away here in that jungle. As that was quite a good trade, if you'd ask me. We do have Dragon coming back in around 1 minute. Teleport is up for Kassadin, so that might just be quite a big fight if, of course, Vires decide to go for that.
Yep, but again, you know, KMT are looking a lot stronger this game. They're going for the jugular a lot more, and that was one of their main issues in game number 1, where they started to get ahead and they took their foot off the accelerator and they ended up playing themselves out of the game. But right now, that Magi Soul Steal, let's have a look. How many stacks does it have? Still the 1, because Overpower's been at the bot lane, was not introduced into all the action at the top. Zazes is just, he's constantly pushing right now, and we've seen this a lot from the player. He plays Rumble, he plays Shyvana. Every time he's looking to make big plays. That being said, Ignite comes down. Also the ultimate as well from Zazes. Mundo goes wherever he pleases. Nice flash from Mazarin. Will he be able to stop the next one? No, he won't. And Zazes will pick up the kill. Meanwhile, actually, around the blue buff, all hell breaks loose, and he goes down from Ultra Vires, looking to come back in. Overpower takes Aluna's passive off the table. He's going to respawn for the double kill from Jankos.
Yeah, so meanwhile, we do still have MBS Law being chased down. A lot of damage that he throws out, but Celever is looking to flank him here. He doesn't quite have his ace in the hole, or he does rather have his ace in the hole available. Overpower is catching up very, very quickly. They are now desperately trying to defend that turret, as we do have KMT backing away for now, but Zazes is actually picking up an inhibitor turret in that top lane.
And that sadism why he gets so much health regen. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Just when you thought you've got the kill, he bounces back. 2 consecutive objectives as well for KMT, and suddenly in the blink of an eye we have over 9,000 gold differential between these two squads at 19.5 minutes through the game. That's a big difference. Plus the fact that with Janko's picking up so many kills, he's got a Deathfire grasp. That's ridiculous amounts of burst damage coming up from just Evelyn alone.
Yeah, that is going to be really difficult to deal with for the side of Ultra Vires. Right now, Zazes really hasn't stopped split pushing, as he looks to stop split pushing for now, but he might just wait for his sadism to come up, which is up actually, and start split pushing once again, but he will back away in the end, as he is sitting on 2,300 gold, and he just bought himself a Warmog's armor.
Wow, as if it wasn't bad enough before, he now got Mundo with Warmog's armor, Sunfire cape, but let's have a look. 3,272 hit points at level 13. My goodness, that's going to take almost 3 or 4 players just to take down Mundo at this point in the game.
Yeah, so there really, I don't see anything Ultra Vires can do against their opponents at this point, because Janko's goes very pleases. And of course, Zazes goes very pleased because he's Mundo, and they just get outplayed everywhere, and this has been just disastrous the whole game for them practically.
It's a case of, do you go to top lane and stop Zazes split pushing all day, or do you just congregate and group in mid and try and make some counter plays? Because right now they have to make a judgment call. Shyvana's still at bot lane, which is all good and fine, but they're putting themselves in a really sticky situation because, as we've already said, Zazes is huge, Jankos is huge, you got a 3-0 overpower with Magi Soul Stealer, and if that wasn't bad enough, a Bloodthirster static shivved up Caitlyn on 2-0. There's so many threats, there's so many things to contend with, and honestly at this point, I don't think the Ultra Vires can deal with this amount of harassment. If they come to top lane, then you'll just see the likes of Caitlyn pushing bot, going to pick up 2 or 3 towers without any problems.
Yeah, so Zazes showing himself in his enemy's base, as meanwhile we do still have Celiver split pushing, and this might be really bad for Ultra Vires, as KMT are starting off this Baron, and I'd say they have to know this. They are going for Celiver, but is it worth it? Miramax going 1 versus 1, taking so much damage. Both barriers being used. Ace in the hole comes out. He will flash it, and he won't die quite yet, as MBSLO is now trying to catch up to Celiver, but they are trading him for a Baron.
Yep, and it's going to be a free Baron at the end of the day because there's nothing that Ultra Vires can do about this. That Celiver is flashing up, will be falling at bot as you mentioned, but still definitely worth this trade. Here comes the sadism and the Rift Walk, the ultimate flying thick and fast from H2K. Luna's in such a bad position. He's going to be falling down to the 4th kill from Overpow, and this should easily turn into an inhibitor. I can't see how Ultra Vires could possibly stop this onslaught.
Yeah, there is nothing indeed they can do about this. Corralius has got his Timber's Flash available, but that is not going to deter them from taking this inhibitor and maybe even a second one right after. And this low going in here, Zazes is just hammering down on this one. Overpower goes in, Corralius taking so much damage he gets blown up by Vander. MBS low now in all kinds of trouble, he goes down to Jankos. Mazarin trying to get out, he gets slowed, he gets down. And now Alanir getting hooked back in. This is going to be disastrous for them, as he will be going down. He gets popped in towards his blood will, and he will be going down shortly after.
Yep, so it's going to be inhibitor falling down, the ace as well. 30 seconds remaining on these death chambers, and the GGs are coming in thick and fast. It looks like we're going to have the 1-1 scoreline here in this best of 5 in the quarterfinals of the Weplay Invitational, as KMT are going to take down the Nexus.
Yeah, KMT showing why they are so strong, considered why they are considered such a strong team, as they finish out in 23 minutes compared to the 55-minute game of the last round.
That's a very good point, Nature. First game did go to Ultra Vires, but it's a 55-minute slugfest, whereas this time around, much more confident, much more one-sided matchup, and you gotta say, in those terms, the confidence going through, the momentum has to be on the side of KMT here.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with game number 3, because of course this is a best of 5 between Ultra Vires and KMT.
Draw.